Feel free to check out my TeePublic after the video, and support me on Patreon. Watch till the end of the video for more. Who would have thought that a movie that was originally meant to be a cash-in on Jaws, only for it to not be anything like that at all, would become one of the most beloved and celebrated Japanese films of all time? This is House, directed by Nobuhiko Obayashi in 1977. Nobuhiko Obayashi has become one of the most beloved cult filmmakers of Japanese cinema, known for films such as The Labyrinth of Cinema, Hanagatami, and Sada. He proved himself to be very unique amongst other filmmakers for his strange and hypnotizing style of filmmaking, with the use of exaggerated visuals and colorful set pieces. Before he directed House, Obayashi mainly worked as a director for television commercials, which would serve him well in the long run, as many of the people who ended up getting involved in his films he already worked with before. And after waiting a long 2 years before Toho greenlit the project, Obayashi got to work on House. So what is House exactly? For many years, it seems that the people who talk about it or bring attention to this film tend to primarily focus on the strange aspects of it, which certainly helps give the film its unique identity, but I haven't really seen many people take a deep dive into a film like this and only parade it through just how weird it is. Anyway, a young woman named Gorgeous, named after her beauty, returns home from school one day to find out that she has a new stepmother. This upsets her as she can't help but think about her real mother who passed away 8 years prior. She would then write to her aunt to see if she could visit her over the summer instead, and after giving her the okay, Gorgeous would invite her friends to visit with her. These friends are Professor, named after her intellect, Melody, named after her love for music, Kung Fu, named after how skilled she is at the martial art, Mech, named after her gluttonous behavior, Sweet, named after her gentle personality, and Fantasy, named after her habit of daydreaming. They all visit the home of Gorgeous's aunt, and what follows is a wild ride of intense and stylized imagery blended with the horrors of a haunted house. It's a simple premise, but man oh man is this film pretty complex. While you do have the film's otherworldly nature, you can't help but really invest yourself in it, and as the film progresses, it just pulls you in deeper and deeper. There are so many moments and highlights from House that I could easily pick apart, but I think it's much more important to focus on why the movie is like this. As Obayashi was working on House, he turned to his preteen daughter Chigumi for inspiration, as many of the film's outlandish sequences were ideas constructed by Chigumi herself, such as the house itself being a supernatural force that feeds on the living. Hey, wait a minute. Many of these ideas were formed from a mixture of childhood fears and nightmares she had growing up, and would all come together in Chiho Katsura's screenplay. As such, House feels very much like a child's nightmare being brought to life on screen through its dreamlike visual aesthetic combined with the innocence of youth and terrifying scenarios. And because of this, House has this sort of wavelength where pretty much anyone can connect with it in some fashion, whether it be our fondness and longing for nostalgia or our interest in striking and colorful visuals. The effects are intentionally unrealistic, as if they were created in the mind of a child. Not only are the set pieces gigantic, but there is some pretty heavy use of blue screen, wire work, puppetry, stop motion, and hand-drawn animation. And this is very surprising for a Japanese film in the 1970s to be this heavy on special effects, putting it along the likes of Submersion of Japan and Battle of Okinawa in terms of being such a rarity for the time. Another thing to note is that Obayashi was also known for being very anti-war, which is present in his World War II drama, Hanagatami. Anti-war themes are also integrated into House, with the character of the aunt as the loss of her lover and the cruelty of war being what turns her into an evil spirit. Upon release, House was a major box office success, but was met with mixed to negative critical reception. It is likely that the overall visual style may have been a turn-on for some viewers, but House would earn a ton of acclaim when it was released in North America in 2009 in the form of small theatrical showings from Janus Films. And since then, the film has become a beloved classic of Japanese cinema, as House would also be released as part of the Criterion Collection, which would only further cement the film in popularity. Hailed as one of the greatest Japanese films ever made, and it is thanks to not only the hard work that was put into the film's visuals, but the amazing acting performances, unique direction, clever editing decisions, gorgeous cinematography, and a beautiful and catchy soundtrack by Issei Kobayashi and Miki Yoshino, which was completed and released before shooting even began, which is an unbelievable concept as that never happens at all. Scoring is usually the last thing that happens when putting a movie together, and yeah, in case you can't tell, please watch House. It is absolutely worth your time. And as Halloween is drawing near, you might as well go ahead and take the opportunity. And you might as well take the opportunity to support me on Patreon, where for a single dollar, your name can appear at the end of every future upload. Other than that, you can also get early access to videos, exclusive content, commission video requests, and receive a t-shirt of your choice from my TeePublic, such as this design based on the film House. Once I reach enough patrons, I'll review the Yokai Monsters trilogy, so if that's something you'd like to see, then go support me on Patreon. Feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and this is TitanGoji, signing off.